Hey everyone, welcomes to today's live session where we will dive deep into the building the Go API that can convert JSON into the Go structs as well as handle the nested JSON structure. Then afterwards we will work on that return structure JSON response, and then afterwards we will include the unit test for the validation. So here we will create a folder structure like this. First one, we will create a main.go file, handlers. Inside the, we will implement a json.handler go. Then afterwards, we will implement a user.go file, and utilities we will implement for the common response format. We will follow it when we are returning the response from the API. Then afterwards, we will implement the test cases that we have developed the API for convert JSON to struct. And then afterwards, these two files, it is a we will create by using the commands. Yeah. So let's get started. So first one, I will switch into the VS Code. I have already created one folder which is called the JSON to struct. So first we will create a main.go file, main.go file. Then inside the folder, we will create one more folder. Just before that, we will integrated terminal we will open, and what we can do here, it is code dot and hit the enter button so that it will create in a new IDE, and we will work on that part. So just give me 1 minute. I will switch into that new VS Code. Yeah, now it's fine. And okay. So I have created one folder which is called the JSON to struct, and inside the JSON to struct, I have created one file which is called main.go file. Then afterwards, we will create one more folder which is called the handlers. And inside the handlers, we will create one file which is called JSON handler dot go. And once again, we will create one more folder which is for the models. And inside the model, we will create one more file which is called user.go. Then afterwards, we will create one more folder which is for the utilities. And we will create common response format file. Then afterwards, we will once again we will create one more folder for the test. And inside the test, we will create JSON handlers, not a handler, test dot go file. So this is the folder structure that I have created: one for handlers, one for models, one for test, utilities, and main.go file. Now first we will start working on the main.go file first. So package name, then afterwards import the packages log net /http JSON underscore API handlers. Then afterwards function main. Okay, we need to install the necessary packages. So first we need to go into open integrated terminal. Then simply we will create the go.mode file. Go mode init JSON to struct. So here it will create file JSON to struct. Then afterwards we will install the necessary dependency. So first we will start writing http dot handle function. Then afterwards we will simply parse. We can use handlers dot JSON to struct handler. Then afterwards http dot handle function user handlers get user handler. Print and server is running on 8080. Then afterwards we will run this port. First we can run this command go run main .go. Okay, package is not installed, so we will need to install. I think here we need to work on the handlers, and inside the handlers we will create one package which is called the package handlers. So we need to start writing the code. Import and coding session at /http JSON underscore API models JSON. Here we made the mistake. JSON to struct. JSON to struct. So this is the module that we can here it is used. Now you can see this error is gone, and we need to implement these two function. Okay, so what we can do inside the handler function, here we also need to make the changes here. So basically here also need to define package models not use. Okay, and one more time, in the utility folder also we need to define utils package util. So now we will start writing the code. So first we will convert our JSON to Go struct. Convert JSON to Go struct function JSON to struct handle w http response writer r for the http dot request. Then we will simply use the var keyword. So before we declare this user and models dot user, we need to create the model first. So go to the model folder, and inside the model folder we have a user.go file. And first we will create type address struct, and inside the address model we will use straight string JSON string, then afterwards city string JSON city. Then one more model we will create for user struct name string JSON name is email address. So this is how we created a structure for model user.go file. Now we will simply consume here. So here I have listen dot So first we need to check. Um, First we can decodes the JSON request body into the user struct. And if the request body contain the valid JSON object, then it is get converted into the struct. So what we can do here, it is new decoder, then afterwards r dot body, and then we can decode it. If error, then we will simply send the JSON response, and JSON response. Here we will pass error. Here we will say that invalid JSON and HTTP status bad request. Okay, we will create one function in the utilities. So go to the utility package, and we will import two packages, one for encoding JSON and second for HTTP. And here we will create the common response format for the API. So response struct. Here we will set the status string, then JSON status, then afterwards message string JSON message data any JSON. We will simply use like this response format. Then afterwards, and we will simply use this one function name and w http dot response writer then afterwards status message string data any status full integer then we can set response status I think here we made a spelling mistake and here also response then we will set the header content type application JSON then write header status code and JSON w encoder. I think here it is removing the package. When I'm saving the file, at that time actually unnecessary import, it will remove it from the code when I'm saving the file. So that is the reason actually automatically remove the code. So JSON.new encoder. Now it's perfect, it looks good. So go to the handler file. So here it is saying that HTTP status bad request. Okay. Okay, we need to pass one more parameter just before the HTTP status pad request. Now it's gone and perfectly working. Okay. And if everything is working fine, then once again we will pass the send the JSON response w success JSON is valid, or we can say that parse successfully and HTTP status. Okay, yeah, and here we will pass the simply JSON response. Okay, so this function is done. JSON to struct handler. Now we will return the structure JSON response. Return structure JSON response function tag user handler. So this is for the response writer and this is for the HTTP request. So when the client is actually making the request, at that time this will parameter has a value, and when we are returning the response, at that time we will use the w as a HTTP response writer. So what we can do here, it is user models dot user, and we will simply make the one JSON page, and afterwards email we will pass it. Here we need to pass the street and city also we need to pass. And simply return our JSON response. User data is fetched successfully. This is for the status, this is for the response message, this is a model that we need to pass, and simply we will return the status code. So status code is 200 here. Okay, so I think json.handler file it is done. Now I think we will run the project. Go run main.go. Okay, JSON API handler. Okay, so go to the main.go file and save it. And once again, run the file. So here it is a running, the port number is 8080. So just before that, we need to test our API in the Postman. So we will take 2 minute break. So back to the Postman. So here I have already created one folder. You can create by using new and go to the collection and you can name it whatever you want to choose. So now I will create one add request, which is for the JSON to struct, and here I will make it as a post request. Then afterwards, here I will, our port is running in 8080. So here I will make it the request for parse as a 8080 port. And now what you can do is go to the body, then afterwards you can go to row, and inside the row you can pass the model. So what we can do here, it is go to VS Code once again. Uh, so here what we can do, we will copy this object and go to Postman, and go to row and using choose the JSON here and paste it here. And add the comma in the property names, and hit the send button. So now you can see our status is success. Message is going to JSON is parsed successfully. Data, and inside the data we have passed this model. So it will receive the response. So this is how we are making the API for nested JSON. And once again we will test. If we are not passing this property, then what should be the response? Let's see. So it is perfectly rendering our JSON response. But if I'm making some mistake here, like I am passing this like, and see, then you can see error, it is showing an invalid JSON, it is throwing message and data is null. And one more API we will call, add request, and go to user and send the. So here you can see our data is fetched successfully. So this is the two API that we have created, one for the get user and one for the converter JSON to struct. And if it is something, it is a bad body, then it is going to be a invalid JSON. Otherwise it is a rendering successfully our JSON response. And here also we have passed the nested JSON. So this is the looks like we have developed the API perfectly. Now what we can do, now we will write the unit test cases for testing our APIs. So for that we will write the code. So go to VS Code, and inside the test folder, go to the JSON test handler test.co, and we will write the unit test cases. Package test import pipes encoding JSON. I think we will not import first our packages. First, we can write the code, and automatically we will import our packages. Function paste JSON to struct handler testing.p. So for that we will need to import testing. Now it's fine. We will pass the JSON data. So for that we will use the title character, and inside the title character we will pass our JSON body. So go to Postman, copy this JSON and paste it here. Now request http.new request, and we will pass the post request. Route our route name is parse strings dot, not a string we will use here, we will use a bytes dot new buffer JSON data. Here we will use the byte and JSON data, and here we need to import bytes. Now we will header the set header set, that is fine. Then afterwards we will use the http test. So for that we will import net http test. Then afterwards handler okay. For that we need to import our custom package, which is called the JSON to struct handlers. Now handler dot so http so this is the serve http that so this will create a HTTP response record to capture the handler response. Create a new HTTP response handler, not a handler, it is a recorder to capture the handler's response. Handler's response. This line indicates write a JSON struct handler function to make it compatible with serve HTTP. Okay. So it will make it compatible with HTTP serve. So it will call the handler function and passing the request and response record. Passing the request and response recorder. Passing request and response recorder. Then afterwards what we can do here, it is basically if status not code, this one is, and status does not equals to HTTP status okay, then it will simply error of, we will simply return a handler return wrong status code and it will return the status with status okay. Then afterwards response map string and here we will use any right now, and JSON dot marshal dot body bytes and response. Then afterwards if response status equals to does not equals to success, then expected success, and we will return the success. Basically we need to use unmarshal. Sorry, unmarshal. Basically it will basically pass our response body into the generic JSON object. So that is the reason we will use the unmarshal. Okay, unmarshal. Then afterwards response. So here it is HTTP handler function, handler.json to struct handler, and handler dot serve HTTP. Now we will implement one more function which is for the another API. But just before that, we will check whether it is perfectly working this code or not. So for that, we will open the terminal and run this command, go test dot paste / triple dot. Okay, handler declare but not use. Okay, then afterwards undefined. So it is giving the error. Okay, 26 number line handler. I think now it is done. And once again run the code and see it is a perfectly running our code. But if I am returning something like this and try to run this code by using go test dot uh, test folder, and inside the test folder we will run all the unit test cases. So hit the enter. So see, handler written the wrong status code, got 400. We will want 200, but it is wrong. So that unit test cases is failed. So we will remove it this one and save and once again run this command, and it is perfectly working. Now we will write one another API test cases. So for that, we will use text get user handler. Here we will pass the testing. Okay, we not need copilot code. We will write the unit test cases for that. Request http dot new request, and inside we will use the get request method, and get request method basically use user route name, and here we will pass, and now we will start our http test by new recorder. Now we will create handler for that, and simply we will use http handler function get user handler. So we will pass the request recorder and request parameter, recorder response, sorry. Here we will use the recorder response and request parameter. Then if status and status p dot status, okay, then we will simply return this error, and here we will create a response map string JSON dot unmarshal dot body dot bytes. Simply pass the response, and everything is working. Not if it is something bad wrong, then simply we will return handler return wrong status and got. Okay, now it's fine. We will use request parameter. Okay, get user. Okay, we will run unit test cases. Okay, this one is one silly mistake we have done, but where it is? Yes, this one, no, this one, no. Nothing like that. Cat user. This is request parameter that is got wrong. I think here we need to pass error and simply use this one. And if we will simply return error, that's it. Once again we will run all the unit test cases. Okay, so this is okay. We need to check. So http rr.code status does not equal true. http status, okay, that is also fine. We need to check. Sorry, actually I have changed the screen, and thing is this is the code that I have written. So test cases, and here you can run this one more terminal and try to run this test cases by using the command. Actually I have not switched the screen, that is fine, but now you can see I will explain this code. So package test, and basically we have implemented our JSON to struct handler, and we actually use our JSON body response, and then afterwards we will pass it to the post API that we have created using parse route name. Then afterwards I will set up the content application JSON. Then we will create a new recorder http response. Then afterwards it will create the http handler from the JSON to struct handler that we have actually created here. Okay, then afterwards we will serve our http request and response recorder. Then if status code is not okay, then we will simply throwing the error, and if it is working fine, then it will return the response. And even if it is not a response success, then once again we will return that handler return wrong status. So that is the making the logic here. And one more here also, we have created one more function, and that is for the test get user handler. And inside the get user handler, first we will make the request for get request, then afterwards we will pass the user out name, then afterwards we will simply start writing the code for that. And we will use get user handler, then afterwards we will pass our response recorder and request parameter, then afterwards we will check same thing here. And once it is everything is working fine, then we will simply use our return the response. Then afterwards, if it is success is not there, then we will simply return the wrong status. So this is how we have implemented as far as. So here we will implement the error, and one more time we will check if now once again run this command. We need to check with release command, go test run function test user handler and dot. Okay, I think there is no file to test here, so that is the reason. we need to check thoroughly our code whether it is perfectly working or not. So http handler, http new record we have defined, user request, and we need to check our routes user get user handler. Okay. JSON to struct. Okay, this is wrong. Go with this file and we will need this command and change it JSON to struct. Paste it here. So I think go file it is required user.testco. So that is the reason we will need to create one more file which is called the user underscore test dot go, and simply we'll move this code here and check once again if it is running or not. we need to check. I think we need to clean cache and try to run this. Okay, so there is something missing here. Little bit confusing, but we will delete it, this file once again, and check whether it is working or not. Uh, I think in my laptop, I think there is some going wrong here, because I have already comment out this code, but why it is not it is cache every time. Even I have not implemented this thing, but we need to check. So this is how we have implemented the unit test cases for that. So in upcoming videos, we will see we will also work on the API logger, enhance the functionality, and we will also address this issue why it is not working, test use cases, multiple use cases. So we will work on the next video. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. Happy coding.